for the first podcast. We're doing a podcast called Gold Coast Locals. It's a brand new concept for us. It's a brand new thing. It's a brand new venture. It's something that we've thought about for a little bit now. I've thought about for a little bit now and put a couple of things together, and with the help of Dutch Studio, who are sponsoring us and giving us the area to be able to produce it and to do the podcast. We finally got to our first one. So as I said, my name's Len. My little mate who you just saw before is Ridley. He's my best mate. We hang out together all the time, and hence why we've decided to go with Len and Ridley Gold Coast Locals. A little bit about me, I suppose, and why I got to the stage of making the decision to do a podcast. I listened to a few podcasts, and I always enjoy hearing the backgrounds and that sort of stuff of different people and where they've come from and different experiences that people have. For me, my experience is I am 57 years old. I have two sons, and I have lived on the Gold Coast for going on 25 years now. I've seen it change quite dramatically. Seen a lot of changes. Seen the roads get bigger, the buildings get bigger. So lots of things I've produced and seen through the concept of change on the Gold Coast. And one of the things that I want to be able to do through the podcast is about getting my experiences out there a little bit, and then also enhancing on other businesses, other people, just other things that go on the Gold Coast. So a little bit about me to start with. As I said, I've been on the Gold Coast for nearly 25 years, going on 25 years. I am a carpenter by trade, and I got involved in the building industry a long time ago, and I've had some big businesses, had some big shop fitting businesses and that sort of thing. We've employed a lot of people on the Gold Coast, and obviously through that process and concept, I've got to meet and know a lot of people on the Gold Coast. About 11 years ago, 1st of October 2008, 30th of September actually, I had an accident. One of my passions is surfing, and back in 2001, first time I sort of hurt my back surfing, and I was down for probably 5 or 6 days, and we went to the physio. Physio got me good and got me sorted and all that sort of stuff. So got me to a stage where I was back on my feet and going. I sort of had back issues for a while then, and had a sore back, to come on and come off. I'm sure lots of people out there have had that experience where, you reach out to open the door and you go, oh my God, my back's gone, or, it's quite a common thing. And so I had that experience as well a couple of times. And then I used to run along the beachfront in the mornings and that sort of stuff. As I said, I love my surfing, and I used to get some numbness in my right leg, and I couldn't work out what it was. And, I saw my physio. He said, it could be shin splints, it could be this, it could be that. So I didn't take too much notice. It started to get better over a period of time, actually. Like it'd be there for a couple of hours, and then it'd be gone. And then the next time I went for a run, I'd have this same thing again. And I'd get it in mainly my right foot and in my little toe and that sort of thing. And it was funny because my foot felt heavy and that sort of thing. This went on for a while, and then in 2006, I had another issue where I'd reached out to do something and my back went. And so that was the first time I ever had an MRI. Went and had an MRI and spoke to a doctor then, and he said to me, look, you're going to have to get healthy, or, something, you're going to have issues as you get older. So, I went, yeah, mate, no problem. No worries at all. And as I got to, over the next 2 years, we worked through the processes, and I tried to get fitter and tried to do those sorts of things. And then in end of September 2008, I actually pulled a trolley up a step. So it was just like a two-wheel trolley. You see those little ones that the guys carry stuff into supermarkets with, and carry boxes on and all that sort of stuff. So I pulled the trolley up a step. I had 3 boxes on it, and I had them on the trolley specifically because I didn't like to pick things up because I was wary of my back. I pulled the trolley up a step, and I had a very, very sharp pain go through my body, and it was like agony to a certain extent. Because of my previous back issues, the first thing I did was went and took 2 Voltaren and lay down. I did that. I laid down, and I woke up maybe 2 hours later, and I thought, actually that's not too bad. I don't feel too bad. At that stage, our family had a farm in northern New South Wales, and so I got in the car and drove to the farm. By the time I got down to the farm that evening, I'd become even more so uncomfortable, and I went to bed that night and couldn't find a comfortable position. And normally when I've had sore back issues in the past, you can roll over, you can put a leg out, or you can bend your knee, or just there's certain things that you can do that's going to give you comfort or take away the pain. I found myself in a position where I couldn't find. I tried all of those things. I moved. I did everything, and it got to the stage where I actually had to get assistance. So I called an ambulance, and the ambulance came and took me to a hospital, and they got me all right. And well, they didn't get me all right, but they sort of assisted with the pain and the pain relief, and that was able to settle. And then they said to me, "Right, we'll keep you in at this night." And I stayed in that night. When I woke up the next morning, I went to feel like my legs, because it was weird, and I actually couldn't feel them. When I went to feel my legs, I'd realised that I was all wet. And so with the reality and what I'd realised and what I know now is I lost all the use of my body functions from the waist down. So I actually woke up with no feeling from the waist down. I was rushed to hospital back on the Gold Coast. I had and diagnosed with a syndrome, or what they call cauda equina, which cauda equina is the base of your spine, your spinal cord. What I'd done is, when I'd pulled the trolley up, long story short, a piece about the size of my little fingernail had come away from the disc down the base of my spine and squashed my spinal cord. So that was my experience, and led me to have a number of years off. I therefore spent 4 months in hospital after this experience, and I had to make a decision between work and walk, and I picked walk. So I went through a process of 7 years, just about, of doing anything. I went to Brisbane to find the best doctors I could find, to find the best physios I could find, to find the people who I believe were going to assist me in getting back to me being the best person that I can be. That's all I can ask of me, and that's all I wanted, was to be the best person I can be. After 7 years, I sort of got to the process where I realised that, I can walk with crutches and assistance. They told me I was never going to walk again, so for me that was a big thing for me. That was the drive. I remember the doctor saying to me, Len, you have to understand the fact that there's every chance that you'll never walk again. I said to him straight away, immediately, I said to him, mate, I'm going to ride my surfboard. You do what you do, and I'll do what I do. It's 10 years down the track now, going into the 11th year. I still haven't ridden my surfboard yet, but I know I'm going to. I've been paddling on it. I've been out and I've done those sorts of things. So throughout this experience, and the reason I'm telling you this story is because I had to make a decision about how good I could be and what I wanted to be. And as I said, I just wanted to be the best me. And I've come across a lot of people in the process who, they get down on themselves and that sort of stuff about those sorts of things. But I want to take this opportunity with this podcast to talk to different people about different things and let people out there understand that, diversity is something that happens. It's not the end. It's something that we can get around. It's something that if you believe in and you focus on and you make a commitment, you as a person can achieve anything that you want. So I made the decision last year, after doing a bit of work and helping my son with the building company. I struggled because middle of last year I started to have experiences that I hadn't had before. I was losing more and more use of certain areas of my body, bladder, bowel, all that sort of stuff was getting worse and worse and worse. And I struggled. I struggled to cope with what was going on because I try and look after me, as best I can. I exercise every day. The bike, I ride the bike. I swim every day. I try and maintain. I don't try. I do. I maintain myself as better I can. I'm pretty much the same weight now at 57 as I was when I was 20. So, I'm doing what I believe are all the right things to be able to maintain the best possible outcome for me. So I want to talk to people about those sorts of things. And through this experience last year, I realised that, I can't run around. If I drove to Brisbane, I get to Brisbane and I had no control over my bladder, for example, and I'd have issues and all that sort of stuff. So it looks pretty funny when you try and get out of the car and it looks like you've been in a swimming pool, if you know what I mean. So it's not a great experience. So I came to the conclusion that, that sort of stuff wasn't for me. I can't do the running around. I can't maintain those things. And I started to become unhappy. And I made a promise to me that I would always try and look after me. I would always look after me to ensure that I was going to maintain the best happiness that I possibly could. Hence came about this podcast idea, to sit down and to talk to people about, the avenues that, we go through. We all go through diversity. We all have shit that happens. That's called life. During this process, I had a little dog who, when I got out of hospital 10 years ago, my family gave me a little blue staffy. He was about the size of my hand. He sat in my hand, and when I came out of hospital, they said to me, oh, by the way, this is Sonny. So for 10 years, I had Sonny. Sonny passed away September 2008, I think, 8. Hence, as he was going over the Rainbow Bridge, he introduced me to this fella here, Ridley, you. So Ridley's become like my mate. He's I call him my assistance dog, so I've actually made the decision to have him trained so I can bloody take him everywhere with me. He goes everywhere with me. He spends all the days with me. We go to the beach every day. We run every day. He has a run, I ride the bike. So we rehab every day together. So him and me it's funny because I call him, he's a rescue dog. He was one of 12 pups who were dropped on the side of the road when he was 2 weeks old. And as I said, I'm sure Sonny passed him when Sonny passed away and said to Ridley, mate, you got to go there. These people will look after you. You'll have a good life. So he's going all right, Ridley. So that's the reason why I've decided to sit down and go, let's tell our stories. I'm going to be as open as I possibly can with everyone. I have nothing to hide. I've got nothing to lose. So that's what this is about. This is about being happy. Probably don't sound happy, but I am. This is about being happy. I love where we live. We've lived on the Gold Coast, as I said, for going on 25 years. The boys went to school here. We've grown up here. We went to the beach every day. I used to have to go and yell at them to get out of the bloody ocean and go to school. So I love where we live. I love the beach. I love the Gold Coast. I love what it is. I love the people here. I love the fact that it's transient, that you meet so many different people from so many different countries. And I want to try and, give back what I can to the Gold Coast and the people on the Gold Coast and all that sort of stuff as well, I want to help people. And the reason I say I want to help people is because I've been through diversity. I understand that, as I said. And that diversity is something that I'm not scared of. It doesn't bother me anymore. I've learnt in my life I don't give a rat's ass what people think. They have no idea about me. They know nothing about me, and I don't care. So I don't care what people think. I would much rather help people. I would much rather do what I can to help people. I don't have a lot of ability to run around and do all that sort of stuff. So if I can help people across this spectrum and this platform, well, then that's important for me. That's really important for me. We also want to
want to help businesses. You know, we've had businesses on the Gold Coast who've been involved with a lot of businesses on the Gold Coast through our building companies and all that sort of stuff. And I want to help businesses. You know, I think it's important that people get to know what businesses there are. You know, one of the plans that we have for this podcast is about Gold Coast businesses. So we want to put forward, like each week we say, you know, what's the top, as I said to the boys, what's the top 5 mechanics on the Gold Coast? And, you know, we've got different platforms. We've got Lennon Ridley on Instagram. We've got Lennon Ridley on TikTok. You can contact me via email or that way. We're just setting up our Facebook page and all that sort of stuff and website and everything like that at the moment. So we've got several different platforms for people. We want people to come back to us and give us the information. I don't know it all, and we don't know it all. But if we can help anyone else on the Gold Coast to enhance their business, like I said to the guys, let's find out who the top 5 mechanics are. And we want feedback from the people on the Gold Coast to tell us who they believe are the top 5 mechanics. What we'll do is then we will get one of those guys, or maybe even all 5, I don't know, but one at a time, obviously, and we'll get them to come in and sit down and do a podcast about them so people know who they are, get a little bit of insight into their business, what they do. If we can help grow the businesses and look after the little businesses on the Gold Coast, then I believe that's something that we're giving back, and I believe that that's a good thing for the people of the Gold Coast, is to assist and look out for each other. The other thing I want to do is I want to also talk about, like, you know, even the events on the Gold Coast. I mean, as I said, I've lived in Main Beach for a long time, and some of the things that go on, I have no idea. So I don't believe that, you know, the advertising and what's put out there and all that sort of stuff gets to all the people. I know more and more people are going to start listening to podcasts. As I said, I know I've started listening a lot more since I've spoken to people about taking the opportunity to do this podcast. People have come to me and they've gone, and they've started to listen to podcasts. I've had more and more people say to me, so when's the podcast starting? So as I said, the podcast is starting. So, you know, anyone or any small clubs, anything like that who are having events and that sort of stuff that they'd like to let people know, by all means, please. We're here for the community. That's what we want to do. I want to be able to say all the good things about the Gold Coast. I don't want to say too many bad things, but, you know, that's going to happen. Some of the things on the Gold Coast annoy the shit out of me. So, you know, we'll get through that. One of the other things I want to do that I think is important too, as I said, I've got 2 sons. One of my sons is involved in the music industry. And, you know, I know how many young guys that we've got and how many good young talent we've got on the Gold Coast that doesn't get a head up, you know, like, you know, they really struggle. So, you know, I want to be able to put out there, they're playing here, they're listening to that, this is what's going on. So, you know, in the future, there's some of the things that I want to bring forward. I want to enhance the local talent and give those kids the best opportunity that we can possibly give them to have other people hear them. You know, if someone's got a gig on, they want someone to play, maybe we can, you know, help a few people out. For me, that's what this is about. Surfing, I'm avid, love surfing. You won't find me, but I'll be up at like 4, 3, 2, 1 in the morning, depending on where the surfing's on, whether it's at Chopes or wherever it is, just watching the surfing. I love surfing. I love the way surfing has evolved over the years. You know, from the days back as one of our local boys, Shane Horan, you know, and has come through to, you know, the boys like, you know, the Mick Fannings and the Joel Parkinsons and those guys that we have now, and the evolution into the next step of surfing. So, you know, I actually think, to be honest, I think ladies surfing has probably progressed more in the last couple of years than men's surfing has. So, you know, the Steph Gilmores and those people from the Gold Coast, you know, they're the people who I want to watch, I want to enjoy. I know quite a few of the boys, the lifesavers down here, so I've got a couple of the boys lined up to give us surf reports, updates, and, you know, things that are going on, a bit of a chat about what they're seeing's going on the beach, how things are travelling, and, you know, and all those sorts of things. So I think that's important that we can relate to what's one of our Gold Coast's tourism, you know, benefits. We live on an island, and I've travelled a lot around the world and seen a lot of things, and I can tell you, we have got the best beaches in the world. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. So as I mentioned, you know, if you want to come back and give us some feedback, if you want to ask questions, if you want to know anything, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I do for my health and my back, what I've learnt through the process and how I go about those things. You can see that happen on Instagram, Lennon Ridley Instagram. It doesn't have too much about that at the moment, but as I said, my intention now is to start enhancing as much information I can on the platforms to be able to let people understand. Anyone who has any questions or wants to know anything, please do not hesitate to ask me a question on Instagram. Come to us through TikTok, whichever. I have a new email account. It's called Len, Len, at Dux Studio, which is duxstudio.com.au. Please send me your information if you've got something going on, if you know of something, if you need to get something out there or anything like that. Please don't be nervous about hitting me up through by email or anything like that as well. So that's who we are. That's where we're at. I hope you guys enjoy this journey and this venture that we're undertaking, because, as I said, for me, it's important, and I'm looking forward to giving back. I've got some great guys who are going to be involved in this with me. You'll get to meet them as we go along and talk about a few more things. And so I hope you guys enjoy. Welcome to Lennon Ridley, Gold Coast Locals. So, what's up, Ridley? Okay, mate. All right, I'll take that on board. Okay, guys. So please, as I said, feedback. Give us the feedback. Don't be scared to hit us up. We'll talk to anyone about anything, and keep listening. Let everyone know as much as you possibly can about the podcast. As I said, this is for the Gold Coast and for all the locals and that sort of stuff, and tourists too. Like, if there's anything going on, any people who are coming in and spending a couple of days on the Gold Coast and want to know anything, we're going to try and give you as much information as we can about things that are going on, opportunities that are happening, and all that sort of stuff. So, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing all your faces in the near future. Have a great day. Okay, welcome back to the Lennon Ridley Gold Coast Locals podcast. I've got our main man, Renee.
Yeah, my man, Lenny.
How you going, Renee? Good to hear, brother.
Good, brother. It's good to be on the show.
Yes, mate. Welcome. Well, you're going to be here a lot. You're going to have a bit of an impact on what's going to happen.
I've got the legs, man. I'm going to be doing legs work for you, big fella. I'm going to be out there meeting all the people at the podcast, all you great Gold Coast good-looking people. Going to be coming out, meeting you, and getting some of you people mentioned, and maybe get you on the show.
Yeah, exactly. So that's our plan. Renee will be out talking to businesses and letting people know what's going on with the podcast, how it rolls, what we do. As I said, we're gonna look at doing 3 podcasts a week. So just to keep up with what's going on, we've got a lot of businesses on the Gold Coast. We span all the way from, say, Coomera to Tweed. So, there's a lot of opportunity for us to get out there and meet people and talk to people and that sort of stuff. And I think everyone's starting to settle down a little bit now that the Christmas holidays are over. Australia Day's finished.
The madness is over.
Yes,
back to school, they call that, Lenny.
Yeah, yes, it is back to school. I'm actually enjoying it because I've had a bit of assistance from a guy who I've never met before, and he's helped me to get a new push bike. As you know, I ride my push bike every day.
Yeah, and it got stolen.
Yes, it got stolen. Bloody hell, like the third one.
Little grubs, mate, aren't they? Hey, grubs, beware.
Jeez, if I tell you if I can find him, bloody, I couldn't catch him. I'm going to send Ridley after him.
Yeah, Ridley's after him. Hey, Ridley, you got his scent?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's Ridley's bike. As soon as he sees the bike, he goes, "You little ripper, we're off for a ride." So he loves having a run around. But yeah, no, that's right. Like 3 bikes I've had bloody nicked. It's a bit
high end bikes too, mate. $2,000 bikes. They're not cheap.
No, that's right. I one of the things, as I mentioned in the earlier part of our podcast, is I love surfing, and so the beach for me has always been a go-to place. I'm a Cancerian, so they tell me that Cancerians are water people, so that's that's all important.
You look like a water person.
Yeah, whatever. So they say that I like to go to the beach. I want to go to the beach, and I can't because I have no dorsiflex or plantar flex in my ankles and feeling in my feet and that sort of stuff. So I struggle to walk on the sand, obviously, as you know. So I love riding a push bike on the beach, and I've got a bike that's got big fat tyres that I can ride on the soft sand. That helps me with my my core, helps me with my exercise, my fitness. my endurance and all those sorts of things. I struggle to walk long distances and that sort of stuff. So the push bike for me is it's a really important part of my day to day. It actually, I say to people, it actually makes me feel normal. It's one of the things that I can do and actually feel normal.
And it's becoming a bit of an icon for you, mate. Everyone knows you now. It is Lenny, and really, there's the bike.
Yeah, well, I don't know that they know Lenny, but everyone looks at that white dog and they go, bloody hell, look at that dog. It's funny when you're riding along the beach or something like that, it's all the girls go, wow, look at the dog, look at that dog. And all the little boys go, wow, look at the tyres on that bike. But I love riding along the beach. And as I said, makes me feel normal and puts me out there. So to have my, as I said in the bulletin, I really lost my independence because I need that. As you know, as I said, I can't walk long distances. I can't do those sorts of things. So it's a big struggle for me.
It's a godsend, man, for you.
Yeah, so the independence, and I know when I had my spinal injury, 10, 11 years ago, that was the biggest shock for me, was actually the loss of my independence. That took me a long time to get over. That I couldn't just pick things up. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do what I wanted to do. So so that was a big shock.
That bike keeps you fit too, but that's a good exercise.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, one of the things about having a back injury is being able to maintain a good level of fitness.
Yeah, low impact.
Low impact. It's really important. I mean, that's why pools are good. I can't run. I wouldn't run anymore. I love watching people run and seeing people run, but I also go, wow, do you know how much pressure that's putting on the joints in your body? And over a period of time, as you get older, those joints start to tell stories.
Absolutely.
So
see, Lenny and I ride together. We're big fellow riders, and my bike got stolen as well, which wasn't cool, was it, big fella?
No, it took one day or 2 days after mine.
Yep.
Both bikes locked up.
Yep.
Both bikes locked up.
Stolen.
And stolen. Like, they came along and they've had to actually cut, didn't they?
Yep, cut the lock.
I mean, my lock was as thick as my little finger, so they've had to. You would have to have had bolt cutters to cut mine.
Yeah, the little grubs, man. There's a syndicate going on, so that's pretty average.
It is average, yeah. But it's unfortunate. I know I'm talking to a little community here thing in Tedder about trying to get some cameras in the street now.
Yeah,
We're
great
going
idea.
to put a petition together. We're going to go to council and we've got enough people coming through here now. We've introduced the tram. The tram's brought a lot more younger people in, which is great. I've got no issue with that. But there's more and more incidents happen. As soon as you bring more people in, there's more incidents. So I think when cameras and that sort of stuff around Tedder Avenue are probably
Great idea.
are going to be a benefit.
Bit of a deterrent, hopefully.
Yes, bit of a deterrent, bit of a.
But a grub's a grub. A grub's a grub, mate. Sorry, I've got to call it when I see it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they want it, they're going to get it, aren't they? I mean, that's always been the philosophy. It doesn't matter where you go. If they want something, they're going to be able to grab it and run. So
yeah, but if it's harder to get, it's going to be harder to lose your
of
bike.
course, of course. But it's the same with insurance companies. Like I had my bike insured, and they come back and they go, oh, you can't. They won't insure it away from home. You've got to have a separate policy to have it insured.
Now
away
that's
from
crazy.
Like,
You've got a bicycle, but it's not insured if you ride it out.
No, but they don't tell you that either. They don't tell you that, until you get the thing. So, but that's lo and behold, you've got to come up with different circumstances, and hence why you use GPS trackers or whatever to make sure that you know where the.
We're going to catch that grub.
Absolutely, we catch it. No worries and welcome. I mean, whoever took the last one, as you know, they were looking at it. They lined up. They knew where it was. It was all locked up and everything like that. But they went to it specifically at a specific time when they knew there was no one going to be around for that, and it would have only been a minute.
They're casing you.
Yeah, well, it was only a minute because as I said, like, it was parked outside a door, and the guys who were inside that particular shop weren't there for 5 minutes, and they came back and they said it was here when I left.
Just like that.
Just like that. Yeah. So it's nice to have the bike back.
You're looking good on it, Lenny.
Mate, I feel much better.
I can't wait to get my bike.
Really loves it. That's what I was going to say. Yes. Yes, yours is the next one.
Yes, it's coming. It's coming.
Get back ride. So there's nothing better. I think it's one of the coolest things on the Gold Coast is how council has spent the money on enhancing our bike paths and tracks and all that sort of stuff. And I'm talking like from here all the way down to Cooley, you know what I mean? Like
awesome.
we've got some absolutely beautiful places where you can, where people, mums and dads take their kids, you can go for a ride on the bike, you just kick back, you can stop at little restaurants or cafes as you're going by and have something to eat, and you can actually make a day outing, I know Ridley loves going for a ride in the pushy, it doesn't matter where we're going. We go for a ride and off we go. He's happy as long as he's running around outside. He's happy as.
And the good thing about it is you can hire bikes, right, and electric bikes for the. But we've got an issue with it, obviously, right, because electric bikes just move too fast on these tracks, and it's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, look, I think electric bikes are good, but I don't think that the bike paths. Like we've just gone through the Christmas period here on the Gold Coast. I ride along the beachfront, as you know, every day, a couple of times a day. Usually just depending on if I can get out, buddy, bright and early, I'll get out first, and then Ridley and I'll go for a ride during the day as well. And I don't know, I'm not quite sure how it works that a 10-year-old should be given an electric bike, scooter, or they've even got those 3-wheel things that they stand on now and all that sort of stuff. They do these things actually smoke along. You know?
They travel about 30 kilometres sometimes.
Exactly. 30 kilometres an hour or something like that. And you can't hear them, and especially through the Christmas period and the holiday periods that we have here, we've got so many families who go to the beach. We've got so many people from different states, from different countries that come to Australia and to experience our beautiful beaches. And I know when I'm riding the bike along that if I see, especially I'm talking about little fellas, little people, 1, 2, 3, 4, where they're excited. When they come to the beach, they go, they're all there, running around, and mum's got arms full with all the bags and the thing, and dad's usually got the beach towel and an esky and all this sort of stuff, and then, hey Johnny, just relax, mate, just relax. But Johnny's excited as he's jumping out of his skin, or so they're straight across the bike path. Yep. And they have no idea of where they're doing or what's going on, and I worry because I'm cruising along and I'm wary of them, so I'm going slow. I've got a hand on the brake and I'm ready to stop if I have to. And then shumpa, beside me will come a 10-year-old kid, even a 14, 15-year-old kid. They're all they're doing, they're just having fun. That's their insight is, I'm just having fun. I'm just, I'm riding along the bike path and I can go as quick as I want because there's no rules.
That's right.
They don't have licenses. They can't because they're kids. So they don't have licenses. So they're not real up to on road rules and those sorts of things. And man, they're absolutely smoking along.
Yep. And most of the time they're racing each other.
Yep. You get a group of kids, especially school kids nowadays, they're all 14 and 15, 16. They can't have a license, but they can all go and hire these bloody things and scoot along the,
It's pretty dangerous, man. I've seen a few kids get hit.
It's really dangerous. Yeah. Well, it's funny because I was talking to one of the lifesavers the other day, and we were talking about it, and I said, man, does anyone ever say anything about these electric scooters on the bike paths? Because they're bloody dangerous. And one of the lifesavers said to me, mate, I am sick of them. I said, what do you mean? He said, do you know how many people I've had to fix up after they've either fallen off them or they've been run over by one or all this sort of stuff? He said, it's just ridiculous. And I don't think it's, I don't know. I mean, I know it's a fun thing for the people to come here and do and experience. You see families doing it. Yep. It was funny because I said to a family the other week, there was mum and dad and 3 kids. The 3 kids are smoking. They're gone. Shoop, they're gone. Ma and Pa are out the back there plodding along, and all of a sudden dad goes, oi. So he comes motoring along. And I said, this little kid runs out, and I said, man, slow down. Yep. Anyway, I was going up to the spit, and I came back, and I saw him on the side, and he yelled at me. He said to me, oh, I'm sorry, mate. Sorry about that. I said, man, I don't care how fast you go. You're not going to hurt me. But it's all these other people that are just cruising around and talking and that sort of stuff.
And young kids, and it's also elderly people.
Oh, absolutely.
They're just managing to just walk.
Yeah, that's right.
And you can knock them off their legs, and they can break a leg. Yeah,
easy as, because as I said, those things fly. And I reckon, I don't know what one of them weighs. I've never ridden one or been on one, but I would think they're probably 40 or 50 kilo.
Yeah, easy.
You got 40 or 50 kilo doing 25, 30 Ks.
Yeah.
It hits a little kid like, 5 or 6 or whatever. It's going to do some serious damage.
Yeah, I reckon they should do. They should, when they hire the bike, the people who hire the bikes out have instructions. There's rules. Give them a heads up. You can ride the bike on a footpath, but be aware of people, be aware of children. Yeah, I don't think any of that.
I'm sure they do.
You reckon? I don't.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they have all those things. Be careful, do this. What I think they should do is govern them, and govern them back down to like 10k an hour or something like that. If that's what they've got to do. If you've got a kid who's under, say 12 years old or 13 years old, well then he shouldn't be able to do 25 or 30 Ks.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean? And then that's going to stop mum and dad from doing 25 or 30 Ks because they're going to have to stick with him.
Yeah.
But when you get to 16 and 17, I don't know. I don't think they should be riding them because those kids are going to be. They go like bulls at gates.
I've seen them in their 20s. Groups of kids, guys in their 20s, in a group, flying on the park over the hills. It's fun, but it's not safe.
It's fun until someone gets hurt.
That's right.
And someone could get seriously hurt, and then I don't know what the insurance repercussions are, but if they won't insure a push bike after it's been stolen a couple of times, I'm damn sure you're going to have a lot of fun trying to get any claim out of someone who's a 12-year-old kid doing 30 kilometres an hour along a bike path who takes out a 7-year-old kid. It's
nasty.
Yeah, So as much as I said before, as I mentioned earlier, the bike paths and that sort of stuff that we've got here on the Gold Coast are absolutely beautiful. So, as long as they can be kept safe and looked after, that's all I'm sort of saying. I know businesses have got to make money. That's what they do. That's their business. But I suppose at the end of the day, I just think Gold Coast Council have probably got a little bit of responsibility.
Yep, I'm with you, man.
In relation to how it's going to be conducted, especially through peak holiday seasons. Like we had a lot of people in the Gold Coast just recently, and they've only all just gone home after Australia Day. So, I do think that there's something that probably needs to be looked at.
This is what podcast's for. Maybe we'll get some feedback.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, I'd love to hear some feedback from people, and people who have had experiences, whether good or bad, with the riding or not riding, or people who have had accidents, and that sort of stuff, because I think it's something that needs to be put out there. And as I said, I don't know how you transfer any responsibility, whether that's what the world's about now or whatever, but it's
mate, it's crazy. So we're talking about crazy. Let's bring the dance back to the Gold Coast, I reckon.
Yes, retro Renee.
Having a retro Renee moment. I'm going to have a regular song or different song every week to inspire people to dance and hopefully get out there and ride your bike. And we can put some cruisy music and some great visual behind it. Hey, Lenny, what do you reckon? Hey, what do you reckon, Ridley? You into that?
Hey, retro Renee, you woke him up.
He liked it. So we'll play a song and then we'll come back.
Yeah. Okay, done.
All right, so we can do a song and then we can just put a visual over it, or a little bit or something, whatever. Riding, clubbing, something. Because I'll do different, like retro songs, like Ricky Martin, Gloria. I want to get them different toe tapping, That's good. So something different.
We've just got to be. Yep, we just got to be careful. We just got to be careful of the copyright. Yeah.
Well, if we don't sell it, we don't have to do the copyright. But we could do. They'll take it off.
Yeah, like you play some songs, they just go. They won't let you put it.
But
on.
if we do APRA, we pay a fee every year. We can play it, can't we? Yeah.
You have to find out.
Just find out
what it is. Yep.
Yeah, you know who they are.
Come here.
Yeah.
Up here. Come on. Up. Come on.
All right. So you want to go say goodbye?
Okay. Yep. Say goodbye. You ready?
Oh, you're a good doggy. Good boy. Good boy,
Right.
Ridley.
Okay. Ridley's in the house. You're right, mate. It's time to go, isn't it? It's time to go. It's time to go. Look, I just want to say, first of all, thank you to everyone who listens to this. Thank you to you boys for getting this thing on the road and getting us started. So I really appreciate that. Ridley and I are looking forward to this venture. As I said, you can get in contact with us through Len and Ridley on Instagram. you can get contact through Lennon Ridley, mate. Relax. Through Lennon Ridley on Instagram, Len at Duck Studios, I mentioned before, .com.au. We've got our website and all that sort of stuff is taking off very shortly. So if there's anyone who's got any questions, anyone who wants to know anything, anyone who wants to promote anything or talk to anything like that, we're here. Next podcast, I think we're going to open up a little bit and try and find. We'll probably start up the northern end, up this end of the coast for us. Or do 5 good restaurants up this end of the coast.
Good idea. Five best restaurants in Tedder.
Oh, not in Tedder, maybe in Main Beach.
Main Beach,
or
the way to the Spit up here.
Yeah, I think the Spit, back this
Sheraton
way, back to the
Mirage.
surface. Yeah, it's got Sheraton, got those sorts of things. So we can get some feedback from some locals, from local people and that sort of stuff as to what they think is the best restaurant there, and let's get them in and have a chat and see how we go.
And you've got some interesting people coming on the show, haven't you, Lenny?
I have got some interesting people. I know a lot of people. I do some work with people about belief, where I talk to them about making a commitment to themselves and doing those sorts of things. And I work with a couple of very, very interesting characters who I'm going to introduce. They don't talk very often. They don't come out very often. But I'm going to introduce them through the podcast and, get a little bit of an insight as to what they do with people and talk to people and that sort of stuff. So, so I'm looking forward to it. But I also want to make sure that we keep, the local people involved in this process as well, So,
yep.
My intention is if I'm riding along the beach and I get talking to some interesting character or, guy, lady, whoever, whatever, I'm happy to get them on the podcast. So, let's talk to anyone and everyone. That's what it's about. It's about Gold Coast locals. So that's what we're going to do. Let's talk to as many locals as we can find.
Let's do it, big fella.
Righto. All right, guys. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the podcast and have a great day.